Uncertainty over the future of education due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the government is cracking its head on how and when to resume classes. But more importantly is the pending issue of national exams. During his countrywide tour in Nakuru to assess the state of infrastructure in public schools ahead of the anticipated gradual reopening, Education Cabinet Secretary gave hint, making it official that KCPE and KCSE candidates for 2019 will now sit national exams next year.
We have already said the children must start from where they left. I think it is just. Then perhaps as we are cooking the food, the earliest the exams can take place is around February and March. And in any case, not later than April.
Magoha says that the focus of the ministry at the moment is to put up the required infrastructure to enable the smooth running of schools should the COVID-19 curve allow that they reopen schools in September. The big question on the table is how practical will it be to manage the huge numbers, especially in public schools, and facilitate social distancing guidelines.
The greatest challenge that we are going to have is social distancing in schools. Even if the class had 40, we still now need a classroom of about 25.
Another headache for the government in the next 3 months is how schools and the government will contain the mingling among learners, particularly those in lower classes, and the question of whether children aged 6 years and below will now wear masks or not. Even as learners continue to spend at home for the next 3 months, billions of shillings have been set aside to facilitate normalcy when schools resume. 2 billion will be used to recruit 10,000 intern teachers. 2.1 billion has been set aside for the construction of additional classrooms in secondary schools. 1.9 billion for the provision of at least 250,000 locally fabricated desks. 300 million for recruitment of 1,000 ICT interns to support digital learning. All these as preparations for life in schools with COVID-19.
Unless it is an extreme emergency, no further schools should be involved in the process. So we are talking about 351, and whenever they become clear now, we are working in the back room to ensure that as we stand ready at attention in case of any big emergency, because when the emergency comes, we shall use them.
Magoha says the government will provide masks to all children and ensure maximum availability of water for washing hands in schools. Sanitizers will be provided and schools will be fumigated intensely before reopening. This, he says, is to make sure right decisions are made regarding the reopening of schools while taking into account the COVID-19 guidelines as advised by the Ministry of Health. Makori Ongechi, Citizen TV, Nairobi.